Hello, Dad. This is Jay Warren. This is the Dadhood Journey podcast, and today's topic is this: go big or go home. Let's do it.
Hi, my name's Mika, and you're listening to my dad, Jay Warren. This is the Dadhood Journey podcast. Thanks for listening.
Yep. All right, Dad. So I am leaving the beach. I was in the ocean surfing this morning like I do on Sundays. That's when I'm recording this podcast episode for you. And I've told you before that I get messages from the ocean when I'm out there just waiting for a lull, just quiet. It's very peaceful, almost meditative, just staring out at the horizon, waiting for waves to come in and nothing else to do but just to wait for waves to come in. And in that kind of peace, in that stillness, I get messages. And today I didn't get a message from the ocean. Today I got a lesson from the ocean, and it was a good one. Sometimes I get lessons that can be painful or it can be scary, but this one was a great message, and it was the title that I called this podcast, Go Big or Go Home. Well, the lesson that I got was I can go big. I don't have to go home. And the way I got that lesson was this. I showed up this morning at the beach, and there's a big swell in town. And I love surfing. I am decent at surfing. I'm not awesome at surfing. But today's size and the current and everything was a little out of my league. A little bit out of my league. It was about shoulder to head high. That's probably like 5 foot waves or so, I would guess. Or if you weren't at the beach this morning and didn't see the waves, they were like 100 feet high. The waves were just gigantic, double overhead, 100-footers. It seems big when you're in it. When you're on the shore, it doesn't look as bad. But this morning, the break that I go to, it's called Pipes in Cardiff here in San Diego. There's an outlook that you're up and over the break, and you can check out like where you want to go out and how big it is and how good it is and how crowded it is, all those kind of things. And so I woke up, just to say, pretty tired. Nico's up a bunch of times last night. Ended up with at 5:20 this morning, him just being up. And we were laying in bed, but he's like talking, and telling me about his dreams and what about this. And he didn't want to go play in his room. He just wanted to lay in bed with me. And that was really sweet. And at the same time, it was 5:20 in the morning, an hour before I was going to get up to go surf. But so I was a little tired, and looking out on it, I could see like, all right, waves are big, and that's not that big a deal. And I take that back. It is a big deal, because there is that part of me that's like, can I hang if I like try and take off on one of those waves? And what if I get pummeled and I get held down and all those kind of things? And again, because I'm not the greatest surfer in the world, this surf was intimidating. For really awesome surfers, it's like no big deal. You know, they might have even gone out because it was a little blown out or something. I don't know. But anyway, for me, that was a little intimidating. But even more so is the paddle out, right? So when the surf is big, the whitewash is big, and it's tough paddling out, especially if you surf a 9-foot longboard like I do. It's just harder to paddle out in whitewash. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, do I have the arms and the strength to paddle out through that? Maybe not. But I could have easily gone home. I had a cup of coffee in my hand, sipping that. I could have easily just sat and watched, maybe go for a walk on the beach instead of going for a surf. But, you know, I woke up this morning and I wanted to go surfing. I didn't want to go for a walk. I didn't want to go for a run. And I really, honestly, Dad, have been feeling that I've been wussing out lately. I've been not pushing myself. I'm just trying to get through things rather than like make things happen or push myself, and that's in workouts, that's in kind of next level of business, that's in a lot of different projects that are up for me. And so it was kind of a culmination of me sitting there, and I came to the realization of like, man, like I keep watching the waves, I keep going for a stroll rather than getting out there and pushing myself and having fun doing it, right? So I sacked up, I put on my wetsuit, I walked down to the beach, and got all suited up to get in the water. And so, again, waves are big, whitewash is coming in. I watched a couple of the guys going in to see how they were doing it, and the two guys I watched did not do it well. They got swept all the way down south. They were getting south along the water, so they were getting pummeled even more so. So I learned a couple things not to do. But the tide was really, really high, too. So usually there's this path that goes down. There's a bunch of rocks there. You walk down in front of it. Usually there's 15 feet of soft sand and then the edge of the water, and then you put in there. The tide was all the way up against the rocks. So I was all set, had my leash on. I was like knee deep in the water, waiting for a lull, waiting for the waves to die down so it would be easier for me to paddle out. And it took a long time. So I'm in the waves. Big sets are coming through. So that means the whitewash is coming up to my waist. Don't want to get pushed back into the rocks. And I, again, thought, screw this. Maybe I'm not going to be able to get out there. It's going to be too hard. And I could have given up and could have gone in. And that would have been okay. But at the same time, this whole feeling of I'm letting life go by, I'm not pushing, I'm not jumping in. It's not even about pushing. It's just about like jumping in and doing some stuff, for me at least. So again, I could have given up, but I was like, no, I'm going to do it. So I waited and waited, which seemed like a long time. And sometimes I get just impatient and I paddle out anyway at the exact wrong time, right when a set comes through, and it's just work. But I actually timed it pretty well, and within a couple of minutes, I was paddling, and I got out. I got out to the outside and was sitting in the lineup with the guys and gals that were out there surfing. And it was big. It was really big. I only got 2 waves, but guys, these 2 waves were like the best rides I've ever had surfing. They were definitely shoulder, head high. I wrote them really well. It was really fun. It was one of those things where like I wish I had like film of it so I could watch, not to brag, because it probably wasn't a great wave compared to many others. But for me, it was just stellar. And so I'm telling this story as a celebration of like getting in there and going for it instead of doing the same old, which would have been maybe get up and early because I have the hall pass to go early in the morning by myself and just go for a walk and grab a burrito or something like that, grab coffee, which would have been fine as far as like taking a break or taking a rest and kind of enjoying myself in a peaceful way. But that's not what this morning was about for me, apparently, because this go big or go home came into my mind, and what lesson I got from it was that I can go big and I don't have to go home. So if you, Dad, are listening to this, and it might not be a surfing thing for you, but it might be some place in your life right now where you're holding back and you're kind of in the groove, and the groove is comfortable, and you're wanting more, you're wanting different, but you're not going after it. I feel you. I hear you. I have been in that spot, and I'm not saying I'm like done with being on that spot, but I'm a little less done because I jumped in the ocean. I had so much fun. It was hard, so I worked hard during it, and I earned that huge cup of coffee afterwards that tasted so good and warm after getting out of the cold ocean, and that burrito, that breakfast burrito that tasted so good after I actually had worked out and worked hard in the ocean, so I burned some calories to justify it even more. But it was really fun. So if there's some place that, as you're listening to this story, feels like a place that you need to jump in and do something different for the sake of doing something different and break the rut, then go for it. I had a really good time doing that today, and I think you will too once you're out of that rut and you get a little more swagger by doing something different, even if it doesn't go super well. Like it went well because you did something different. That's my 2 cents for today, guys. So enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, whenever you're listening to this. And until then, next time, take good care of yourself, take good care of your families, and we'll connect on the next episode.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. You can hang out with other dads in our Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for the Dadhood Journey, and apply to get in. See you there, and see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening.